are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hello, everybody. I'm Graham Nolan, and welcome to the landing party. Captain's log, stardate 2409.25, This Side of Paradise, written by D.C. Fontana, from a story by Jerry Soule, writing as Nathan Butler, and we will get into that in a little bit. Directed by Ralph Sinensky. Now, Stephen Karabatos left the show as story editor when his 13-episode story contract ran out because he just didn't get sci-fi and wasn't a fan of the genre. For him, working on Star Trek was no different than his work on Peyton Place. Roddenberry already knew who he wanted to fill that chair. Dorothy Fontana had already contributed 2 wonderful scripts to the show while still working Charlie X and Tomorrow Is Yesterday, both of which came in under budget, which put her in good graces with Desilu. Fontana had recently quit her job with Gene to focus on her writing. Roddenberry approached her with, "We have a script that's not working. We'd like you to do a rewrite on it. If you can do it fast and satisfy the network in the studio, then I'll invite you to join us as story editor." Fontana said okay. And with that, she handed in what became This Side of Paradise. Jerry Soule had written the first regular season episode, The Corbomite Maneuver, and had early on suggested other sci-fi writers for Gene to contact for his fledgling new series, Star Trek. He was invited back and turned in a script called Sandoval's Planet, which became Power Play and finally The Way of the Spores. I kind of like the name Sandoval's Planet. If The Naked Time was the crew drunk, This Side of Paradise, the crew was on LSD. At least that's what Soule was going for. The script was problematic from the get-go and, according to many, confusing. This is why D.C. Fontana was brought in to rewrite it. When Soule read Fontana's rewritten script, he saw very little of his original material. So little, in fact, that he lost the teleplay credit and had to share the story by credit. This really upset him. It put him at odds with Roddenberry and caused a riff. He eventually came back and did a 3rd season episode, which we will get to down the road, which really sucks. But he took his name off the credits. That's why he's listed as Nathan Butler. Fontana added to the Star Trek lore once again. So up to now, we knew Spock's mother was from Earth and his father was from Vulcan. But here we learn his mother was a teacher and his father an ambassador. She will expand more of the canon in the upcoming Journey to Babel and give Spock's parents names, as we know as Sarek and Amanda. Frank Overton played Elias Sandoval with a wonderful, dangerous undertone, I think, that added to the tension as the captain and the crew try to figure out the puzzle. Unfortunately, Frank Overton, I think it was like 6 months after filming this, died of a heart attack. He had been on over 200 TV series over the years, including Outer Limits and Twilight Zone. Jill Ireland is wonderful as Layla Kalomi, and you really feel bad for her when she loses the spore control. Shatner and Nimoy both have some wonderful scenes in this episode. Kirk on the Lonely Bridge and Spock confronting Layla. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's bring in the landing party. Here we go. First, we have Anna, that Star Trek girl.
Hello.
Hi, Anna.
Hi.
We have Aaron of Paradise.
This side of paradise, right here.
What have you done? You've been here all this time, and the animals are dead. And
I'm really feeling unproductive. Like I haven't done anything in 3 years is kind of what I'm feeling right now. Maybe I need to get off the spores, if you know what I mean, and get back to work, Graham.
become one with the body.
Wrong episode, though.
Oh, yeah, you're confusing me now because I'm not of the body. I know that.
And then, of course, we have Ron Garney, who is the character on the left-hand side here.
Being one with the body.
Yeah, Ron is definitely one with the body.
I'm one.
Peace and tranquility to you, Ron.
Peace and tranquility to you as well.
I love when we first meet Elias Sandoval and this crew here. You know, it's like these poor bastards, they're all dead and everything. And he says, hardly, you know, and Kirk turns around and then we see these guys that look like they're ready to kick some serious ass.
In their jumpsuits.
Yeah. I mean, these two guys in the background, you know, the way this guy's holding that hoe is just, he's ready for action, you know.
They look like the same outfits they were wearing in Planet of the Apes.
In the TV series or in the movies?
Well, both, I think. Like Cornelius and Zero, they were wearing
the monkey suits. Yeah, maybe something there. You know,
your baby bump, girl.
My baby bump?
Oh my gosh, you're hardly even pregnant.
I know, you don't look much more than last time.
I get a bigger bump like that when I drink a lot of beer.
So.
Oh, it's beautiful.
No, he's big now, and I'm getting that acid reflux because he moved my stomach. And so every night I try not to choke on it because it's like just right there.
That hair.
Peaches.
No, this kid's gonna be a monkey baby with mine and Peaches' genes. So I already knew that.
Do you have a name picked out?
He has a name and I have a name, and we'll see who wins.
You have to flip a coin here.
Let's do a vote here just for the shits and grins. What's the name? What's yours? What's his?
I'm not gonna say my kid's name publicly ever.
But it isn't his kid's name because you haven't named him yet.
Can you say
I don't want people to know. I'm very private about my personal.
Okay.
Say it backwards. So if his name's Bob.
Okay, how about I tell you guys in the private chat and you are not allowed to say it out loud?
All
Fair
right.
enough. But
Fair
we'll vote there.
You trust us? Holy cow.
Wait a minute. Ron's here.
Ron, do not read this out loud.
What? You mean what?
I like the first one.
Man, I like both of them.
Actually, so do I. But
Yeah, I like them both.
Whose is yours and whose is his?
You can't guess which one's mine.
No.
I would think the second one wouldn't be yours, only because of the way that.
No. The second one is mine. The first one is his. I said to name
See,
it
I was
after-
thinking the first one was yours.
yeah,
No,
me
that's
too.
his, and I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I love it.
I like them
I do
both.
too.
I like that name.
Every guy likes the one that he picks because it's
It's
like,
like, it's
It's
like
a man's name.
it is.
Wild
But
West.
You don't want a soy boy.
the second one is not a soy boy name.
No, it is. It's a
It is now.
biblical name. It's a
They're
great
both good.
biblical
They're
name.
both good
Come on
names.
now. I'll
Yeah,
I'd
so-
go with either. You have my approval on either, but I do like the first one a little bit better.
Yeah, well,
All
we'll
right.
see who
Because
wins.
we're men.
Okay.
Okay. Who's on Peach's side? Raise your hands.
Oh, you bet. Dang it. You know what's funny is
All right,
all
who's
the
on
guys,
Anna's side?
me and him.
Either one of them.
Yeah, I'll give you half.
Uh-huh.
You
I
two
like either
soy
of them. I really do.
boys. Yeah,
Wow.
they're great, and he'll be a
Well,
beautiful baby, and you'll be a wonderful mom.
Gonna
Aw,
be
thank you.
beautiful.
Well, my
I like
baby
the first
showers
thing I
this
re-
weekend,
The
so
first thing I read down there is don't trust Ron.
It looks like the chat knows you already.
they're saying it's definitely Jamal. Yeah, my entire chat just wants me to give my kid black
Jamal.
names.
Oh, apricot. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Stippling saw you in Baltimore this weekend.
Who did?
Stippling Vaughn.
Oh, yeah.
Were you at you were at Baltimore, right?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're everywhere, Ron.
So was there a show last week? Because you said you were skipping a week, or did I miss one?
That was a couple of weeks ago that he
That
skipped.
was 2 weeks ago.
So you had one last week, or you didn't?
Oh, we had one last week, yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay, I got confused. All right. Doesn't matter. Anyway, back to the show.
Back to the
Let's
show,
get back
folks.
to This Side of Paradise, starring the lovely Mrs. Charles Bronson.
You know, the main thing, the question that popped into my mind when I was watching this episode this morning, actually, I watched it. And when Spock's making out with Charles Bronson's wife, I was like, do you think he was like worried? You know, like maybe Bronson was on the set and he was like, I better be careful here.
But to be fair, I don't think she was married to him just yet. I think she was in between that divorce with David McCallum.
Oh, that's true. So,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
She
because that would have been
married
like,
to
what,
Bronson until
67?
69.
They should have went full speed ahead with that and showed some Vulcan wood when he was killing.
Oh no.
It only comes out once.
They should have named
7 years.
that should have been the name of the episode, Vulcan Wood.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Isn't that the name of a Beatles song?
Yeah, right.
A lot of people don't know that. That's
No
the name of
Vulcan's
Ron's
wood.
band.
I once had a girl.
Okay, my problem with this episode, other than the fact that it's too slow, but is, you know, it didn't. The spores overtook Spock pretty quickly, and then Kirk overtook the spores too quickly. So, you know, there was, I mean, maybe that was just expedience and storytelling, you know, let's get it over with and get to the point. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from Kirk fighting through this to get past the spores than we actually got.
They
You
only
mean
had
when
a
it was
certain
on
amount of
air?
time.
I know.
You
I
mean when
know.
he was on the
To be
sh-
fair,
exactly.
Spock
Good
couldn't
point, Anna.
overcome it.
See, Anna just made my point that I made a few episodes ago. How you only have so much time. So, are you talking about the moment where he's on the ship and the spores get him, or what are you talking about?
You know, I'm talking about where he's going to beam himself down and he's like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On the
I know.
ship.
And he's
And he's
looking
like,
at the light,
"Oh."
and somehow that's all.
Okay.
That's all it needed was that.
Yeah, because look how he had a. I mean, Spock was really pissed before Spock got out of it. I was like, I'd like to see Kirk work a little bit harder to get out of that.
It's 'cause
Well,
he had
you know
to-
what? DC Fontana talked about that Kirk's love for the ship, which we showed in The Naked Time, overcomes everything. You know, his self-worth and everything. And so we see him when he's gathering his shit from his room, and he opens up that metal. He's looking at it, and then he kind of angrily slams it shut, like what am I doing? But yet he still goes on, and
Right.
he goes to the beam down pad, and that's when it's starting to hit him, all that stuff, and then he goes no, you know, and the anger builds up in him. Now, Spock can't do that because he doesn't have those emotions, and they certainly wouldn't well up in him unless they were forced out. And so that's what Kirk has to do, is force those emotions out at the risk of his own life. So personally, I thought that was really cool.
Well, I don't have a problem with the explanation of how it worked. I just felt like I wanted to see a little bit Kirk struggle with it a little bit more. Might have been interesting, but you know, it's just me. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think
He's
it's
Kirk.
interesting tale of the ramifications of losing, like avoiding responsibility or giving up responsibility for the non-reality of living an idyllic sort of existence under the influence of a mind-altering thing. Like, it's almost like a good statement to make on which is more important, the pursuit of that kind of happiness or the pursuit of purpose. Without purpose, you can't possibly have happiness, really. You need to have
Right.
purpose, which is more important than happiness. But when they get hit with the spores, there's no responsibility in any of it. So there's no purpose. They're just mindless drones living down there under an influence. I thought it was a good statement to make in that regard.
Yeah.
You know?
And when you put it in context of the time it was made, when young people were tuning in and dropping out, which is what Jerry Soule was also mentioned was a motivator for him when he was originally coming up with the original Sandoval's Planet idea.
Wasn't there a movie or something called This Side of Paradise written by F. Scott Fitzgerald or something? That's sort
Well,
of
there's Paradise Lost, which was written by Milton.
no. It was a movie or something, or a book in the 1920s written called This Side of Paradise, and I think this is sort of along those lines based on the book. Maybe it's an homage to that.
Well, I had to have a different title, or they wouldn't be able to use it.
Or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it was clearly a what do we want to say? Not a metaphor, but a allusion to, you know, a hippie commune, which would have been, you know, pretty prevalent at that period of time.
Right.
Or becoming prevalent in that period of time. Was that 1967, probably, right?
Yeah.
The hippie generation. Well, actually, that went on up into the mid 70s, but yeah, it would be a good statement on that for sure. Smoking weed. I mean, the spores could be thought of as just weed, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was very similar to Invasion of the Body Snatchers too, because you had this plant creature that was kind of taking you over. Now, you know, it didn't absorb you and kill you and that kind of stuff.
And you didn't grow in a pod.
Yeah, but it did take you over, and it took over your personality and everything. And you know, I thought that was kind of cool how, you know, they played a little with the science, because originally it was supposed to be radiation, you know, and so they just come up with this thing, Bertol rays, you know, that kills organic material, you know, but you know, the idea that there could be plant life with no insects is, you know, that just doesn't hold water.
It's an alien planet. They got alien soil.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, originally in the original script, another thing that was wrong with it that DC Fontana changed was that it was Sulu who falls in love, and you know, her point was like,
I love that George the guy got shafted again.
Yeah. He blames Shatner for everything, but you know, in this case, DC Fontana says, well, you know, I love George. You know, he's great as Sulu and all that kind of stuff, but he's not the star. He's not a star. He's not one of the star characters. So it didn't make sense thematically for
you know, sorry, go ahead.
For him to be driving the plot. You know, this is not an ensemble cast. You know, they are second bananas and third bananas and whatever. You know, this is a story about James Kirk.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Now picture, like, I can't help feeling that if you saw Sulu hanging from the tree and, you know, and
his shirt off and his sword.
Like, Mr. Sulu, Mr. Sulu, what are you doing? He wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, Sulu would be after
He would just be like, yeah, whatever.
Not
And then he
for
goes about
Ireland.
his business and what?
Sulu would be after Sandoval, not.
Yeah, I know exactly. He wouldn't be chasing any
He
girls.
wouldn't be chasing Layla.
It would have been a very progressive episode back then. Is that why in the mirrored universe he's straight?
That would be funny if it was him and Sandoval under that tree.
Kirk like starts to say something, he just turns and walks away.
Oh my gosh.
He sets the phaser accidentally on kill and just vaporizes him.
He turned it off stunning.
Now, Jim, come on.
Phases that stunning.
Oh my god.
Anna's like disavow.
And they would be like, you know, when Sulu hops off the tree, all right, you know, and they would go skipping.
Oh my god.
Now, Aaron, you must love this episode because your boy is in this.
Yeah, DeSalle's in there. But
DeSalle.
do they actually call my name in this?
What's that?
Did they actually use his name in this
Yeah.
episode? Did
Yeah.
they? Okay, I was because I saw him in there when he came up and talked to him about the they haven't grown anything except enough just to survive on, and I don't remember him calling him DeSalle. I go, is this one of those weird cases where sometimes he's DeSalle and sometimes he's somebody else,
Yeah.
or but no, yeah, I love DeSalle. He beat the crap out of Sulu. You gotta love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Weighed him by about 30 pounds.
You gotta love
What's not to like about the dude, man?
it's so appealing to us to see Sulu get the crap.
Well, until George Takei got all pissy in his later in life, everybody loved him,
I know.
and then
That's what I've always said, though.
Until he revealed his personality, everybody liked him.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times was he on that set and was he checking out Nimoy's ass or any of those cast members going, oh man, look at that. Oh, my piece of that.
I wonder if he was still in the closet back then, because Hollywood was a different place,
You can still tell.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, people knew Rock Hudson was, and that guy was, Joe Stud, but
that was a big shock. That's the equivalent of like if Brad Pitt came out now.
Right. Yeah.
At this point in Hollywood, if they're straight, I'm surprised.
I'm the same way. I'm like, oh yeah, really? The guy's married for real?
To a woman?
Yeah, I will say I've questioned a lot of people. Like, there's all those rumors about John Travolta, and then there's a picture of him kissing a guy when he's getting on a plane. And
yeah.
No, I just think, honestly, the casting couch is a real thing, and I think there was no real. Some of these actors were just fine being by for the moment to get
what they wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that happened to Clark Gable. Clark Gable had to get a little fancy with some costume designer or somebody back in the day to get in the door, and he wasn't gay, but he made the sacrifice for his career, I guess.
Well, surely.
And then you have Brendan Fraser, who did the opposite, and it destroyed his career.
What did he do?
What?
Oh, so basically the gay version of Harvey Weinstein told Brendan Fraser at the height of his career, either give me a blowjob or I'm gonna, end your career. And that's why Brendan Fraser kind of got wiped from Hollywood. That's why he won't go to the Golden Globes. Yeah, it all came out, a few years ago. And
wow.
Did you ever see that video of him at the Golden Globes or the Oscars, whatever it is, and he's laughing, and it's so uncomfortable the way he's over laughing to some joke that was made on stage, and everybody's kind of looking at him.
he probably is uncomfortable.
Dude, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard.
You gotta see it's hilarious. But I never heard that. So Weinstein wanted a blowjob from Brendan.
And not Weinstein, like the gay version of Harvey Weinstein, I guess in Hollywood was trying to exploit him. And then right at the same time, his wife divorced him and took all the money.
Who's the gay version of Harvey Weinstein?
He hasn't said. Nobody knows.
So there is a guy. It's not Harvey Weinstein. It's just some guy who's powerful and gay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
But nobody has exposed him yet. Brendan Fraser hasn't said it yet. So maybe one day we'll find out.
Interesting. Well, a lot of the gay guys got blacklisted too, like Kevin Spacey and the kid who directed X-Men and
well, that's for
Project.
Yeah, but you're not getting not because you're gay. It's
because you're young lads.
Yeah,
we're going after young lads. I know, but still, I mean, it's still gay.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's twice as bad though, right?
Yeah. There's illegal gay and there's legal gay.
Well, what's weird is Peaches' twin brother, he's gay, and he dated Bryan Singer for a little while.
What?
Oh,
really?
So Peaches knew him.
Peaches' brother dated Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
Oh, film school.
Well, we shouldn't be talking about Peaches' brother. That's not good.
Yes.
Well, no, Peaches' brother had nothing to do with it. He didn't know.
No, I know.
It came out after.
It's his personal life. I don't want to.
I went to film school with Bryan Singer.
I hear you.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't. We weren't real tight or anything, but if you don't understand,
you and who?
Bryan Singer.
you and Brian Singer weren't tight.
That's what I'm saying. We weren't
Oh,
right, is what I'm saying.
so it was a little looser.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Wow.
Well, Aaron, let's explore
Lots of room
this a
in
little
there.
more.
Yeah, a lot of yeah.
Hey,
But it-
Aaron, isn't it your job to bring us back around to Star Trek? As
I'm
the
trying. Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried. Well, I was going to say this episode is not one of my favorites, but it does have a ton of great lines in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
Spock right next to the dog-faced boy. It's one of my. I use that all the time.
Yes,
The
you do.
Jackrabbit with a hyperactive thyroid.
Yeah, that's right. You should be
Actually,
squatting on
I
a
think
mushroom.
the most memorable line was how he said she wouldn't be able to pronounce his first name.
Yes, that's wonderful.
And the way
I
he
guess
said
his
it was
last
very
name.
poignant because he cracked a little bit of a smile and it showed that he had empathy for her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, because it's weird because he snaps out of it and he's no longer, it's like he is wrestling almost with the guilt he feels over coming out of it. And she's still in it. She's still madly in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he just cracks.
When she calls up to the Enterprise, when she calls up to the Enterprise and he's there and she's taken McCoy's communicator and she's talking to him and how are you? I'm well, you know, and he's like trying to inject some emotion into what he's saying, but it's antithetical to who he is. And as an actor, I think that Leonard Nimoy wrestling with those two dichotomies of that personality is amazing to watch.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I think you know when he I am well. You
It's
know,
so nuanced. Like
yes, yes,
it's like when he says you wouldn't pronounce it, he kind of hesitates as he's saying it, and he's forcing a tiny bit of a smile just out of sympathy for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
yes.
mean?
And he also tenderly touches her too.
Yeah, I thought it was a great moment and the perfect ending for it.
And
Well,
then
it's
he
weird
breaks her
because
neck using Alshira.
It's weird because his dad, who's full Vulcan, is capable of still like having a relationship, but for whatever reason, Spock, because he's so at odds with his human side, it's like, no, I can't do it.
Well, it's because Spock's dad has giant Vulcan wood, and she just couldn't find that on Earth. So she was like, she dealt with the lack of emotions quite well.
Yeah, but I mean, he got married even after her.
What's that?
Well, Spock's dad was getting around. He's banging Vulcan princesses, human women, like
Vulcan princesses.
Well, they live a long time, man. Yeah.
He's banging Vulcan princesses.
well, he did because that's what's his face's mom,
Wait.
Spock's brother.
Who
No, Spock does not have a brother.
Yeah, Star Trek 5 does
No,
not
his brother
count.
died.
Star Trek
No,
5 does not count.
in the lore, his brother
It
died.
counts. They're in it. It exists.
Oh,
Aaron
don't
and I
remind me.
disavow that movie.
Yeah, we absolutely disavow Star Trek 5. So
Don't tell William Shatner that he's gonna
Oh yeah, I didn't know
bird
you were
on Ron again.
Now I remember.
That's why he was so mean to Ron. He knows you guys are friends with him. He's like, you guys made fun of my movie.
I've been making fun of it for what 30 some years. Oh.
It was so bad. It
was
just
horrible.
beyond like. I mean, when he's zipping down with those stupid snowshoes and
Yeah,
it's just so poorly done.
boots.
You know, and the funny thing is, Nimoy talked Shatner into directing the damn thing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Shatner had the opportunity, and Nimoy talked him into it and said, "Yeah, give it a go ahead to go for it." And I almost think he did it on purpose, knowing it was gonna make Shatner look bad.
Well, maybe.
I don't think so. I think because the script was actually quite good.
It was
as
a lot
originally
different.
presented, but they cut the budget on it severely, and it and it's like you said with the rocket boots. That whole sequence just looked like bad TV, let alone a multi-million-dollar movie.
Yeah, and when they're going up that big tube, you can clearly see that things are connected to elevator thing. You know, like it's not really flying. It's just really,
And
really.
even the Enterprise looked like crap. It was all like washed out. You know, like in Superman 4, where there's like a halo around him whenever he, because you can see the mat behind him,
Yeah.
and when he's flying, his suit is green instead of blue because of the that's what the Enterprise looked like. It looked like it's just crap. I mean, it looked better in the TV series in the 3rd season than it did in that movie.
That's right, Danky Frankie Sibach. Yeah, he is married to Lawrence Luckinbill, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Married to Lucille Ball's daughter. He is.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know. If
That's ironic, though, when you think about how Star Trek wouldn't have existed without Lucille
Yeah.
Ball.
Mhm.
Well, wasn't somebody else supposed to play him? Play
Who?
Sibach?
Yeah, they wanted it to be Sean Connery.
That's right. Yeah.
That's why it's like heaven is shockery.
Oh,
Spock.
Which would have been awesome. I would have loved to see Sean
Connery would have been
Connery in Star
awesome.
Trek.
I give us 1 chance in 3.
Money penny.
He could have been in Star Trek, and he could have been Gandalf. All these movies he turned down.
It was so unbelievable with that character, though. I agree, because he just was so emotional and just was so not Vulcan.
Yeah,
That was the whole point. Is he's going against the Vulcan way.
It was just
he was a Vulcan hippie.
Yeah. He should have been
should have
in this
hung out with the
episode.
guy from The Way to Eden.
Yeah, going down to Eden. Yeah, brother.
Dr. Severin or the other guy, the
Or
guitar
Charles
guy.
Napier.
Charles Napier. Yeah.
Charles Napier. Yeah, that's it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, when we get to the 3rd season, that's going to be a hoot.
Oh my gosh,
We're
look at
gonna have
anything good to
so
say
much
about anything.
fun.
Yeah, because I
I mean,
can't
all
wait to hear.
the wheels are going to come off.
Yeah, because Anna likes Spock's brain, so I'm fascinated about that.
Well,
it's
you
not my
do,
favorite episode, it's
you're-
just funny.
it's one of the better 3rd season episodes. That just goes to show you.
Brain and brain. What is brain?
Yeah, you are not Morg. I am not Morg.
And I like the way Spock's landing. Yes.
Yeah, now doctor.
Like
he's a brain
connecting
surgeon.
his voice box. You know?
Yeah, like he can feel that and he's talking through it.
Yes, 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 doctor, yes.
So, okay, just because Dr. McCoy gets happy, why does he turn into a Southern hick in this episode?
He always
No.
does that.
No. Oh,
That's who
hey,
he is.
Jim boy. You know, hey, look at here now, Jim boy.
Yeah, and he's chewing on the little grass.
Yeah, like Jimmy crack corn, and I don't
You
care.
want to see how
Having a
fast
mint
I can
julep.
put you in a what do you say? You want to see how he gets in a fist
How
fight.
fast I can put you in the hospital?
You don't need a doctor. You want to see how fast I can put you in a hospital?
Yeah.
McCoy's a badass, and he punches him. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sandoval. I don't know what made me do that.
Yeah, and all of
Drops
a
his
sudden he
drink.
loses that Southern drawl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instantly. The Southern drawl's gone.
It's funny because he played villains in westerns, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's it's good to see him out of character like that.
What was that one line, Anna, you put in the green room? But he said that, I don't know, Jim, but he sure looks alive to me, or what?
Yeah. Well, because when they beam down, they're like, "Oh yeah, there's no way anybody survived the what are
The
Bertol
rays.
rays.
the rays." And then he shows up. He starts talking to them. He's like, "Let me pull it up because I wrote it down so I could get it right." But I love this line. He says, "On pure speculation, just an educated guess, I'd say that man is alive."
Pure speculation, yeah.
Kirk gives him a kind of a, No, there is a ton of great lines in this episode, but
I like how they introduce Layla. Like all of a sudden she's standing in the middle of a room.
that's right. Yeah, what was she doing?
The camera goes to her, and then you got the Vaseline all over the lens. And,
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, and then
It's
she's
romantic.
standing in the middle of the room, and she goes, "Elias," it's not like she walks around a corner. She's like standing there, and then all of a sudden, you see Spock's, and you get your the Ruth Love music theme.
And they put like the rim light around her so she's all glowing. And they
Ruth-
always
Ruth
do
up
that
the
to all the
possible
girls.
They do. They put that soft focus on the lens too, the little Vaseline trick.
Every time she's on it, there's like a glimmer in her eyes, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will say there is something about her back then, at least, that seemed a level above most of the other actresses that were on the show. There's something about her. I think she was really good at what she did. Like she's totally believable
Yes.
Mhm.
in her desire for Spock and the way she delivered the lines, and she was quite charming. I thought.
And particularly when she loses the spores, and she realizes she the emotion overcomes her and she's crying, and then that's when she realizes, oh my God, I've lost everything. I've lost the spores. I've lost you. You know, I thought that was very, very touching and well done scene.
Yeah, but she didn't really lose. She didn't lose her feelings for him because of the way she was acting. Like
Right.
she still had feelings for him, so she didn't really
Yeah.
lose that. She knew she lost him.
Right. The spores didn't make her love him. She
Right.
loved him when they met 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and
right,
she,
right, right, right,
and
right.
the spores were just something that were, she wanted
Right.
Spock to
It
have so
was
that he could
Viagra.
love
It
her.
was Viagra for women.
Mhm.
It was Viagra for everybody.
He was shooting Viagra spores at everybody.
Yeah.
The happy drug.
The Cialis spores.
I
Yeah.
did like how I liked how Sandoval at the end there after McCoy punched him out and he got up and he's like, we've
I don't know what
accomplished nothing. It's like suddenly this veil had been lifted
Yeah.
that what are we doing here? It's like you wonder again if you're using the drug analogy that it's like what you're thinking when you're blasted and then what you're thinking when you're sober. And
Right.
it's like, what was I thinking? How could this, how could I have let
And
myself?
the whole thing started over him telling him he needed to do some work. Right?
Oh
Well,
yeah,
selling bones.
Yeah, he was
he's going
telling
to give him a
him,
job because
Yeah.
you don't need a doctor or
Yeah. I've been giving it some thought about,
your
what you can
response.
do here. What are you
Right.
talking about? I'm a doctor. Well, not anymore. We don't need a doctor here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again,
the work,
it's
but they
avoidance
weren't.
of-
Yeah, I mean, the work they were doing was just like survival work, right? Just enough, like I said, growing enough crops so they didn't die, but they weren't doing anything else.
Right.
Mhm.
I like when he says, "What happened to the our records indicate they were animals. What happened to them? We're vegetarians."
Okay, well,
That
that
doesn't
doesn't
answer
Doesn't
the
answer the
question.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like when Kirk says, "I have orders to, evacuate this colony with or without your help." And Sandoval, this is really great staging. He kind of looks back, then he kind of looks towards the camera and walks away, and he goes, "Without, I should think."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that delivery.
It was kind of interesting because you had to be careful in this script because if anybody got mad, they would have lost the spores, right? So Sandoval is like resisting being taken up, but with a happy face. We're just like a sit-in, we're not going to go,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like we're going to fight you to stop you
Right.
from making us go.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
I'm
Well, the way
tuning out.
Spock handled it was just when Kirk gave him an order, he goes, "No, I don't think so."
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't
He's
think I'm
like,
going to do that.
"Excuse me, mister," or whatever he says. Like,
I don't think so, sir.
we got to get you straightened out, yeah, or something. He says.
Oh yeah, yeah. He says, "Well, the captain's going to be difficult."
Who was the guy that was in the line when they're all waiting to beam down that he talked to? That guy has been in the
It's
show
Mr.
before.
Leslie.
That was
Mr.
Mr. Leslie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Leslie,
Yeah. The guy who says, "This is mutiny."
Yeah,
Yes,
he goes,
sir.
yes, sir.
It is.
Yeah.
He's another one of those guys who's always in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's funny because he gets killed in an episode. I think it's Obsession.
Yeah.
And then the next episode he's back on the bridge.
yeah, I know. I noticed that too.
Well, they thought he was dead. It was one of those things,
He got better.
He's not quite. Yeah, he's right. It's a Monty Python. He's not quite dead. Almost dead.
Back off
But it's
Tiger
scratched.
Garb. Susan Oliver was probably the sexiest Kelly co-star. Yeah, she was very sexy. I think the thing that I liked about Jill Ireland though was that it wasn't sexual with her.
Right.
She had a quality about her that didn't make you think about that. You were just sort of she was just charming in a in a very nice way. Like was like the girl you would fall in love with, maybe.
For
Mhm.
me, it's Yeoman Barrows from Shore Leave.
Your
Yeah,
go-to.
yeah, I agree. She was
She was not only beautiful,
she
and
was
smart.
both. She was sexy and
Yeah,
like she had both
yeah.
of them.
She had all the qualities, the girl next door look,
Yeah.
capable.
Helen Noel, come on, man.
You want
That
'em
Christmas party, are you kidding me?
Yeah, she was good too. Yeah, but she ended up marrying Fredo in The
Yeah,
Godfather.
yeah.
Come on.
Did she really? Because I thought he was involved with Meryl Streep.
No, the character. She was
No,
in
he
The
was.
Godfather.
Yeah,
She was. Oh,
he
she
was in
was.
real life. He
Yeah.
was in real
Oh,
life.
okay.
Yeah, she was Fredo's wife.
Oh, really? She
Yeah.
was in The
Before he
Godfather? I
died,
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one pays attention to the
Worst
chicks.
movies ever.
Come to a town and talk to a guy like Mo Green like that.
And Mo Green gets it right in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then slowly lowers his head.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like this. Oh, he just shot and then.
Yeah. Lights out. Yes to that optic racer. She was Fredo's wife in Godfather too.
Worst
She was
movie
also in
ever.
a Clint Eastwood movie, Hang 'em
Yeah,
High.
was that her? Where
Yeah.
she was the one who was a pain in the ass, and he finally grabs her and throws her in the hay, right? That was from
I think it was.
High Plains Drifter.
That wasn't her though, was it? In that
It
scene?
I don't think it was her, but it looks like her.
No, she's in one of them. It's either High Plains Drifter or it's Hang 'em High.
I'm gonna have to
One of
look
those
that up
two.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the one where he
She's
basically,
really nasty to him, and then he
Yeah.
knows she wants him. He
yeah,
knows she wants him, so he finally just grabs her and drags her into the barn and boffs her, and she's
Yeah.
all into it, and then
she
you know,
calls her husband and goes, "That guy," and he's like, the husband's like, "Don't worry about it, he'll be fine." We need him right now, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
He even gave up his own wife.
Yeah,
What was
That's
that
how desperate
actress's
they were.
name? Marianne.
Faithful. No, I'm kidding.
Marianne something.
I saw the weirdest thing on Instagram. This guy called the Cody Tucker Show, and he gives like little bits of historical information that are kind of cool and what led to this and that and the other thing. And he's talking about the Sex Pistols wanted to do a movie, and so they got their favorite movie was Valley of the Dolls, which is a really horrible movie.
Mhm.
And so they got Russ Meyer to direct this Sex Pistols movie, right? And then they hired Roger Ebert to write it because he wrote Valley of the Dolls.
Roger
before-
Ebert.
before he was a movie critic.
Oh.
So then he wrote this screenplay about this aging rock star that went and hunted deer and gave the meat to poor people. So
Fascinating.
But anyway, it never got made because it was crap. But they said Sid Vicious he said he was really hard to work with, would never show up and stuff, except for the sex scenes that he had with Marianne Faithfull, who played his mother in the movie. So it's like, what kind of a weird movie is this? And they said that Grace Kelly found out about this movie and heard about what it was about and all this, debauchery and crap. And she was a huge investor in Warner Brothers, I guess it was. And she said that if they didn't, she'd pull her money if they made the movie. So it got canned. But it was the wildest thing I'd ever heard. I was just like, what? So it would have been a classic piece of trash that almost you wish had gotten made. But all that from saying Marianne, maybe go down that rabbit hole.
Well, it was Marianne Hill, and she was in High Plains Drifter.
Maybe it was her, Ron.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought it was her.
Yeah.
Looked like her.
Didn't she have blonde hair?
She
or
had
something?
blonde hair, so it threw
Yeah,
you
that's
off.
what it threw me. Yeah.
But she was
great
so
movie.
nasty in it,
Yeah, she was a
really
real.
played the role well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That
Well,
a
she
great
was
movie.
no catch either as Fredo's wife. She was kind of a
Isn't
selfish.
she like drunk?
Yeah.
Like she just made a drunken fool of herself in the beginning at the party.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
She was
See, I
basically-
finally watched that movie for the first time and I hated every second of it.
The Godfather?
Part 2.
Oh, part 2.
I
like
watched part 1.
better, but,
I hate those movies with every fiber of my soul. If I could Thanos snap them out of existence, I would.
And
much
then you would be denying all the 99% of the rest of the world that loves the movie. There.
I know you all. I don't get
So
it.
you
guys
are really
crazy.
are evil like Thanos then.
You guys can have it. I hate it and I never need to watch it again.
Did you guys see that movie
All right,
about
so what
the
movie?
making of The Godfather?
What?
Did you ever see that movie about?
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was a TV show, wasn't it?
really
Or was it
good.
a movie? Was it
Yeah.
on like it was like a streaming thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a streaming thing. Yeah,
I never saw it,
It
but I
was
was
that
really
was
good.
really cool.
The
though.
guy who played the agent or whatever, he talked like this, Charlie.
Oh,
like-
yeah,
What's
Evans.
the guy who played in The Watchmen? He was the smartest guy on earth or whatever. That was the same actor.
yeah, Ozzy Quasimodo or whatever his name was.
He had a really strange affect to him, but it was good. He was chewing up the scenery. He was really, really good.
Yeah, he was really excellent in
And
that.
Miles Teller was really good too. It
Yeah.
was a really good movie. I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
And how dead on was the guy who played Marlon Brando? I mean, he was just freaky. He was
Oh, yeah.
close to the way he looked and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
darn it. Now I got to go watch that. You guys have baited me into watching it.
No,
Yeah.
it's really interesting how the mob actually got involved and they threatening them to shut it down, and then
Yeah. The
So
things
they're-
that guy had to do, the producer, what he had to do to get that movie made was like unbelievable.
it's pretty much a true story. I don't know how much embellishments there, but
Right.
It's Hollywood, baby.
No, I'm sure it's exactly how it happened.
yeah.
Verbatim.
And,
Yeah.
Had a recorder going the whole time.
So, what did you guys think of this episode as a whole?
Anna,
Offense
What?
for that, literally the worst take.
Give
Well,
us
I
your
like
rating.
it. I like this episode.
give us
Yeah.
a rating, though.
Either an 8.5 or a 9. I know.
8.5 or a 9. Okay. Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I like Kirk in the episode. I like McCoy. I think that there's some great lines in it. And then, I mean, you get to see Spock and Kirk go through, big character moments. So that's always good. And then,
I just wish the stuntmen weren't so damn obvious in this one.
He looked like
In that fight.
Frankenstein in that. Spock looked like if he had Frankenstein makeup on when he got
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kirk looked like he gained like 3 inches.
Yeah.
I wonder how much Spock, after the fact, was reminiscing about how he got boned in between the 7-year itch.
Thinking there's something to this.
Like, was he thinking, like, Shatner walks in and Spock's just sitting there thinking about it. Like 2 years later, he's like, wow, that was something, Like,
So
my human half
does the
approved.
spores take away the Ponfar so that, like, because
That's what I was wondering.
he only gets hot like for every 7 years.
Yeah.
So with the spores influence, is he just like a human where a cold breeze blows by and boing?
It would have to be his human
I think
half.
Nurse Chapel hears about this in the next season. She's like, "Oh, I got to get some of those for Spock."
Like, oh, Mr. Spock, could you come down to sickbay, please?
Got something for you.
Whips it out.
There's a lot of
Nurse
episodes.
Chapel's hoarding the spores in a little petri dish.
He's mixing it in his Vulcan.
Well, I mean, even like the ending dialogue where they talk about paradise and like how, second time we've been thrown out, and he's like, "No, we left it." And then Spock with his, "I was actually happy," but it's so sad because it's like, Spock
I
can't
love
be
that. I
happy.
love when he says, "For the
Yeah.
first time I
For
was
the first
happy."
time, I was happy.
Yeah, it's like very melancholy of an ending, but
Yeah.
He never knew what that was like to
Mhm.
feel
Yeah.
happiness. So to him, it was like bizarre to understand. It was kind of like Data.
yeah, when he gets to laugh.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that's
It's
what it
very
was.
sweet. So I like it. I like this episode.
It's like when Spock in Star Trek 4, he's trying to re-educate himself and everything after he's, come out of the planet that rejuvenated him. And the computer's asking him questions, and, how do you
Genesis?
divide this shit and that shit? And then he's got all the numbers in his head and everything. And then the computer goes, how do you feel? And he's like, how do you feel?
How do you feel?
I don't understand the question. How do you feel? And then his mother comes in and says, It's a simple question, you know, and he wasn't getting it, which is kind of cool. I love that movie.
And then he learns how to curse. It's great.
Yeah, yes. You sure this is not time for a colorful metaphor?
Right.
Take him into San Francisco. You'll get a Vulcan to start cursing real quick.
Pass on you. I know.
Yeah,
Dumb.
but they didn't have to step over human feces at that point.
Yeah, or heroin.
Not that we saw.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. They cleaned
So
up the
Anna's
park before they
an
cleaned up.
8.5 to 9 on this. Okay, is that your highest score yet?
I feel like I gave Spacing kind of the same. Yeah.
Space Seed?
I don't know. Chat, if you guys remember. We should have like archived this for what we
I
rated
know.
the episode.
I know. Should have started right. I should have written.
I think it is. I think she gave an 8.5 on something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember
maybe.
you saying that's your highest ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
He's
do
waiting
really
for
like
Journey
this
to Babel.
episode, and I like the fact that it takes place on Little House on the Prairie set. So half the time they're in Nellie Olson's
Oh,
house.
is it? Is that on that set?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool. I didn't
Oh.
know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Long
they filmed
before
a
they,
couple episodes.
it
I
was there
think they have
before.
Michael Landon in the background somewhere.
Yeah, about 10, 15 years before Little House.
Oh,
Okay,
so
Aaron.
it was pre.
Okay, I'm going to give this a 0.5.
What?
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. Just trying to get a reaction out of Anna. Okay, I don't really like this episode, not because it's not good. I mean, this Star Trek is weird because you can sit there and watch an episode and go, this is really well written. It's got a nice moral. Everything ties up at the end, but it doesn't really do anything for you. It's not like an episode I'd run to go see, you know? So it's kind of hard for me. So I'm going to go 6.5.
Okay, that's pretty low. Okay,
Yeah.
Ron.
Well, with Aaron's synopsis, I'm aware now that Aaron is not a very deep guy. Because all of the things that make this show good are going over his head, I think.
No, it's not. It need to be mixed in with like a rock monster or something, and then I
know that's what I was thinking as you were saying that. That's what I was thinking. I was gonna say he wishes it was Wrath of Khan or something, and I
He wishes everything was Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. For me, I really like the episode because it's engaging from beginning to end. It's not. There's never a moment in it where you're not engaged with the plot, with the story. To watch Nimoy's performance, to watch Jill Ireland's sort of, she's got that something about her that you can't quite put a finger on. To watch the relationship with Kirk, to watch Sandoval and McCoy, all the little things that happen in it, and the statement it makes about avoiding responsibility, in pursuit of happiness. But in order to have happiness, you need responsibility.
Right.
And that's the big thing that's missing, I think, in a lot of today's cultural discussions is that. And what we teach our kids. We teach our kids, oh, you have to be happy, happy, happy. No, you need to give them purpose. That the happiness is the fringe benefit of having purpose. Mm-hmm. And so for me, watching that episode and realizing all those things that Aaron's not capable of, I will have to give it. I'll go with Anna and give it an 8.5.
Oh my gosh.
Because, and you want to know why else? Because it doesn't have to be phasers and starships to enjoy an episode in that context. It's in the context of science fiction, but it's a beautifully written, engaging drama that's in the content. Whereas the science fiction is just sort of a supporting character inside this well-written story.
Which is what Star Trek is supposed to be. It's supposed to be drama in the future that we can relate to today.
Yeah, and at any time. You could write that story back in the days of Little House on the Prairie, except use marijuana.
Exactly my point. Where's the freaking,
Exactly. Look at that. He's so smart. Exactly my point.
where is my freaking rock monster? Put the stuff around a rock monster, and you got me.
Well, you then go watch Galaxy Quest.
There you
I
go.
love Galaxy Quest.
I love it too.
Well, so would you like this episode more if like the spores were like somewhat evil? Like they went more into that on how
Here's the
each
thing.
one was individually evil.
No, here's the thing. If there was a little bit of a darker tone to this, because you had mentioned earlier, Graham, that Sandoval kind of gave this kind of nuanced performances. Like there was something going on that there was hiding, but I never got a feeling that it was anything of any great consequence, which it actually sort of, I was wanted a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more danger, a little bit or more threat of danger.
The great consequence is that if they didn't take these,
they didn't do anything for 3 years, and that guy's whole revelation when he's like,
they were going to die.
I haven't done anything.
But I mean, if the crew, if
wasn't the spores also responsible for them not dying or something?
Yeah, without
Yeah,
the
it
spores,
heals
they'd
them.
have died.
Right, so that's the great consequence. If they were to stay there without the spores, they'd all be dead.
Right.
Well, see that makes me so angry because the whole plot of whatchamacallit, that Picard show that came out was how Riker and Deanna's son couldn't, like, he died because he had some kind of disease that can only be cured in like a brain like Data's. And it's like, what about all of the omnipotent beings you've met? What about the freaking spores? You could have taken him to the planet and he would have been healed in like a day. Like, come on, it's so annoying.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're yeah. Well, you wouldn't.
I'm
have a
trying to
show
solve
that-
problems for people that don't know anything about Star Trek.
Well played. Well played.
That's just a bunch of old hippies.
Say
That's
that
all I would say
about
it.
probably 60 or 70%.
I'm not old.
So
No, I mean the episode. Like all the farmers, a bunch of old hippies. I mean, come on, man.
Dana's not
Take the
old. She's
Manson
only 30.
family, and now you've got a little drama. Okay.
Put the Manson family down there.
Yeah. Now you've got some stakes. Okay.
They
You
really
know what?
should've
Go back to
been
watching the
there.
Human Centipede.
No, oh God! Don't even. That's the most disgusting.
Dude,
Okay.
my sister used to make us watch that on Christmas.
What?
What?
I have never seen that movie, and I never
Your
watched it.
your
Yeah.
sister needs to be locked away then.
Oh,
Okay,
she
here's
died,
the-
but
Going to hell.
Hang on a second. How did Kirk beam himself back on board the ship when everybody was gone? Before he got
because there
hit
were
with
still
the
people on the ship when he beamed up. And then he was the last one left.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
got beamed up, and then they were waiting to go down.
Okay.
Because remember,
All right.
he said he had to pick up some things or something. I forgot. It
No,
wasn't.
No, I mean
he goes back up to the ship while there's still people there because they're still trying to infect
Yeah,
them. And
that's
remember,
when the guy. That's when the guy says, "Yes, it's a mutiny"
yeah.
or something.
No,
And
it was
so-
after that scene that he went back up.
Yeah, because he went back down and encountered Sandoval and Spock in
Fuck,
that
you're
room.
having
Well, there were
two-
still people because he still is able to go back up, and then he's the last one left.
I thought, or maybe they set it to automatic. I don't know.
I just watched it. I know.
Maybe he walked
I
into
just watched
another
this
room
morning,
and
but he
got
didn't-
beamed up.
He didn't communicate with anybody to say he just goes, I'm going to
Who was,
back
Anna,
to
Anna,
the
who was
room.
up there? Who was up there?
I don't remember who was up there the second time.
okay.
They don't.
No,
I mean-
he left the room and said, I'm going to go back up to the ship. And the next scene is him walking on the bridge all by himself. And he's hitting the intercom asking.
Well, they
This,
only have
this
so
is
many.
this is another recreation of how did he get out of the room from the other.
They only have so many transporters, and there's over 300 people on the ship. I'm sure it took time, so that he was able to beam up in the meantime, and then he was the last one left.
Okay, I'll accept that. I guess I'll accept that.
We're going with that.
Yeah.
We're going with that one.
I would imagine in the future they had the captain would have an automatic button on his communicator to beam himself up.
You would think so, huh?
Well, they
Like
never
a
used it,
garage
really.
door opener, you know?
Yeah, right. You press it at yourself.
Yeah. But if he did have that, that would negate a lot of plots. You know?
It's true.
That's
Okay.
true. That's
Yeah, I'm
true.
going to amend mine now to 5.5 after having this conversation. So,
All right. See, we got you up a little.
We
bit.
got you back up there.
no,
So
I was
we
at
just gave you
6.5.
our literary Viagra, and you got
Yeah.
it.
No, that's went down. I was at 6.5. I'm staying there.
Oh, you went down.
No, Yeah, it was a joke, Ron. It was just a joke. I'm just
Well,
saying.
Oh, you just delivered that just like Shatner.
Oh
I
my gosh.
I appreciate the intellectual,
No, dude, I'm totally teasing you.
but I just to me it was just too slow, man. It's not
Mm.
something that I mean. It's like the Animeter, right? It's like you've said this before. It just I don't really want to watch it again. It doesn't really do anything for me. It's
Is
a
there
fine
ever
episode.
any kind of show you've ever watched where it's idyllic in a way where you get engaged and it's not some sort of high potent sort of
Of course, but
well, then why can't you view this that way?
Well, wait
every
a
hang on
sec, Aaron. Last week you told me that you gave A Taste of Armageddon a 7.5.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh, you gave that more than this one?
that's what I'm getting to. So
Yeah.
that doesn't have really any action in it.
Well,
It's got some really lousy sets.
there's threat of death constantly in it. So
And there's
they're
threat of death if they didn't have the
Yeah,
spores.
there's threat of the end of the Enterprise, and then
oh yeah, we can only stay down here for 2 weeks, and then
Boy,
we'll.
oh boy.
Come on.
All right, let him have his thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What's your rating, Graham?
I'm gonna go with you and Anna. I think this is an 8.5. I think it's nuanced. I really
Oh, the pain.
Now you know what it's like to be me, Aaron.
all of a sudden Aaron's on Lost in Space. Yeah.
Oh, the pain. The pain.
Oh, you bubble-headed booby! How can you give that an 8?
You duddling dunderhead.
Yeah, I think, as I said, the performance is so great. The writing is really great. There's great dialogue scenes. There's nothing in it that bothers me really, other than the stuntmen.
Yeah.
The summon are pretty bad.
Yeah,
They're always
I give
bad.
it an 8.5 just to see because Spock was hanging off that branch like a freaking monkey and stuff.
right.
Funny.
He was squatting on a toadstool.
No.
You know what I can't understand is like when you obviously see those stuntmen, and the stunts that you see them doing is nothing more than what Shatner had done in
Yeah, I
the
know.
second
It's
and third
nothing more,
season.
right. But it's got to be in the contract or something.
It's got to be the
Must
director's
be
choice.
insurance policy. They're only allowed to do a certain
Yeah.
amount.
Maybe
He
it was,
gets a
they
journey
filmed
to
it during
Babel and
lunch.
bouncing off the wall and landing
Well,
on the
isn't it-
ground.
It's
It's always
insurance.
like stage like acting, so it's not like they ever touch each other because the way that they angle the camera, it's like the fake hits, right?
Mhm.
So why
Well-
couldn't they just do that?
Yeah, I know.
Well, when he kicked and to fall on your hip on a hard surface is not fun. Believe me, I know. I mean, it's
Well,
just
when it's fake, I don't think it matters. Like if
not
you're
on
fake
mats or
falling,
something like you are in a gym. So it's got to be an insurance.
get
reason.
some more cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a little rubber mat down there for Kirk to fall on. Come on, he jumped up on the wall and hit that Andorian with his butt.
Well, that's the thing.
He can do that.
Exactly.
Hit him with his butt.
He did.
Well,
That's
really
that's
him.
not exactly what he just did right there.
that's really him, and he lands on the ground too, like
He,
right on the
he
top.
farted right in his face. Right.
Yeah, and blew the guy away.
Disgusting.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
I
great.
can't believe how tiny Shatner is in person. I was just he was so
You
shrimpy.
terrified him,
Not
Ron. with your
everyone is a
manliness.
giant like you.
Well, he is, 93.
I
too.
know you're shrimpy too. Billy, don't get defensive, Anna. I'm just saying, he was tiny.
He's big to me.
He's got a big head.
Yeah, he does.
He's got an actor's head.
Hmm.
Yeah, he does. So 8.5, 8.5, 8.5,
6.5.
6.5.
6.5. So that averages out to 7.5. So
Yeah, it was 6.5
Above average.
is above average. Good.
yeah, no, that's it. That's all right.
Okay.
As
Thank you, Ron.
illegitimate of an opinion that is.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
I'm just joking for
Oh
fuck's
no.
sake.
I'm writing this date down. I'm gonna be revenge here.
The date that will live in infamy for Aaron.
Right. The date that Ron went too far.
Well, what's the next
there.
episode we're talking about? What's
Well, the next episode is a great
Friendship
one.
over.
The next one has got to be in a 9 or a 10 league.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
Is it?
Devil in the Dark.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the pizza monster. I love this
That's
episode.
the first one I ever watched.
You asked for a rock monster, Aaron, so that number better go up.
The
Mm.
horta.
There's
The
so much
Horta.
backstory to that one because of Shatner's father and everything.
Right. Exactly.
And
But don't
how
tell
he-
that story now. We'll save it
and
for
how,
now.
what a dick he was to Nimoy because Nimoy was being.
Hey, next week.
Well, hey, since you two
Ron, you're
weren't
ruining the show.
here, Grandma and I talked for an hour
Oh,
about
you weren't
Space
here
of
either
Armageddon.
last week.
I was sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
How
two
did you
bailed
give
on
it?
us.
How did you give it a 7.5?
I told Graham, give it a 7.5 for
Yeah,
He
he
me.
messaged us in the group chat. But what do you think about that episode, Ron?
Taste
Quickly.
of Armageddon. I just, man, I just found it dull or something.
Oh, Ron, they're just
Yeah, or
great
something.
message about
Well,
war.
no, I get it. I agree with that, but I think something about the feeling of it just felt off. I'm not saying it was a horrible episode. I just didn't do anything for me personally, so I might give it a 6.
See, there you go. I see personal feelings do count on
Dude,
these
I am not. You got to stop taking it so personally, man.
I'm not this is performance art, man.
I get it. That's why I said let you have it. That's your thing. I'm going to watch that one again because I deliberately don't watch any of these so I can refresh my memory. So I'll watch that one
And report back.
and rethink it. So
Yeah, well, they do use the same hats from the one with where McCoy's baby. What's that one called?
Yes.
things, yeah.
Right.
I
Child.
pointed out. And they have the same outfits. They just are missing the sashes.
Those
Yeah.
big computers with the big things going like this or whatever, like this.
Yeah.
Well, even this one, aren't those jumpsuits from
So industrial.
one of the androids?
Yeah, they passed a lot of costumes around in this show.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming
Yeah.
evident.
This side of paradise, as I said last week, should have been a better one because the concept is really great about these two warring planets that have taken all the horror out of war, and it's just become part of their cultural heritage. This war, but the effects just don't support that. It's so small feeling. They got these death chambers where thousands of people get killed, and you can only kill one at a time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you touched upon, not to interrupt, sorry.
It's all right.
You touched upon what I think would have made it better is to actually give the viewer a grasp of the scale of how fucked up that is.
Yeah.
People walking to their death. If they just showed more of that or something instead of one person at a time, and it just seems so innocuous. Just sort of they walk in and it doesn't even seem. I get that they accept it and all, but we being foreign to that need to feel the effect of horror at what that really is. Can you imagine happening here in the United States or something like people just going to their death willingly because we made a deal with Russia or something? I mean, how fucked up that would be.
It wouldn't happen. And that's the whole thing about human nature, that even in a planet like that, people would fight for their lives. So they would have to have security surrounding that death chamber and making people that didn't want to get in there as part, reminding them of their duty, and forcing them in because there's, it would not happen.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. It's like a lot of these episodes touch on a loss of individuality. It all becomes a cult thing somehow. Like even this episode,
Right.
they're all under this influence, and that one they're all brainwashed into thinking, going to die for their country under some form of mass brainwashing, not realizing how fucked up it is. What was the other one we said was cult-like recently?
Return of the Archons?
Return of the Archons. Yeah, it's always that. Like they're brainwashed.
Very relevant to today's society.
Yeah, it is. It's funny, too.
Yeah.
You'd think that these people would recognize it in themselves in today's.
But the
Yeah.
best part of Taste of Armageddon is Scotty gets the bridge, and he doesn't let that Pimpin' Jay Fox or whatever he calls him call the shots.
Poppin'
Yep.
J Fox.
Poppin' Jay
Him
Fox.
and Jay Fox. What was it? What does he look like again? Is he the guy with the big eyes, kind of a gawky?
With the big bags under the eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
big
yeah,
guys
yeah,
on the eyes.
And that ridiculous collar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's absolutely nothing imposing or like you would never respect that guy as your superior officer or anything.
Well, they didn't either.
No, they didn't. They didn't care. Like, dude, you're stupid.
He looked like a human fly swatter or something.
And then he gets down there and he finds out, though, well, by the way, you've all
We're
been
gonna kill
declared
you.
dead. You need to walk into the stat chamber. And he's like, huh? What? But I'm an ambassador. I'm, oh,
I thought his character was perfect because he was just such an idiot. He had no idea what he was doing. Had no
He's
idea
a
of like
typical,
real world
bureaucrat.
politician.
yeah, real bureaucrat.
Never actually got down in the trenches and did anything himself. He was just. How did he get to that point anyway?
I don't know how did Kamala get to that point.
No, please don't get me started.
Well, just saying.
That's a whole other
you can
show.
see how Kamala got where she got.
Yeah.
That Pimpin' J guy, he'd have to be. I don't think Willie Brown would take a BJ from him.
Maybe when he was young.
And on that moment, my friends, yeah, we've gone over the 1 hour mark here, so we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank the landing party, everybody for coming in. We got a full house today. Thank you, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. We try to read the chats, on the side there, and while you guys are posting, really appreciate your thoughts. Next week is a really good one, so don't miss it. Do your homework and watch Devil in the Dark. And at least I think it's a great one.
That's a good one.
And if you're all very good, Ron's going to do his impression of William Shatner in Pain. So,
Isn't that Spock?
It was Spock, yeah.
oh, that's true. It's Spock. It's Spock.
And he's
Yeah.
doing that because he feels bad for Shatner, and Shatner shits all over it.
See, but that's what happened when Ron went into Shatner's little tent. Shatner's going,
Oh my
Pain!
I was telling that story to Walt Simonson and Klaus, and they were like in tears laughing. I
It's a
guess
great
John
story.
Byrne had a bad experience with it too, or something. John Byrne.
Aw.
Well,
I
can you imagine those two egos in a room?
Yeah, I know. The ego, the living planet versus Kirk.
Yeah. They both have heads as big as Ego, the living planet, too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
So,
it.
hey, thanks everybody. We'll catch you next week on the landing party. And also take a look at Aaron's new launch for Wraith of God 3. It's up on Indiegogo right now, and the link is in the description of the show. So please check it out.
Thank you, Graham.
Live long and prosper.
Oh my God. I'll be